I bet most of you guys know someone that has diabetes or has been categorized as fat or has any heart problem, disease, or some disease. Well, today I'm going to tell you about why you should exercise and why it's good for you and bad for you. I start off with why it's bad for you, because you get a lot of diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, high sugar pressure, cancer. You can also get dementia, a stroke, and it could cause obesity and depression. I start off why it's bad. It's bad. Well, type 2 diabetes is bad. It's a long-term metabolic disorder that is characterized as high blood pressure. It's high blood pressure, insulin resistance, and it's a related lack of insulin. Half of my family members are type 2 diabetes or type 3. Two of them are type 2. They use this little machine that they inject themselves before they eat to see how high their sugar is. If it's high, they have to wait a while before they eat. If it's low, they have to eat a sugar candy or something so the sugar metabolism can go up. Another disease would be heart disease. It can cause a heart attack, which is a disorder of the blood vessels of the heart attack that can lead of the heart that can lead to a heart attack. From an online research, online website I read, which is called National Heart, Lungs, and Blood Institute, I read a heart attack happens when an artery becomes blocked, preventing oxygen and nutrients from getting to the heart. Another disease can be high blood pressure. It's a condition in which the pressure of the blood pumping through the arteries is abnormally high. It can cause a stroke, aneurysms, heart failure, a heart attack, and kidney damage. My grandma suffers from this. She also, like my aunt and uncle, she also uses that little machine to check her blood pressure before she eats. If it's too high, the same thing, she has to wait a while before eating. If it's too low, she has to do something about it to keep her metabolism higher, or like at a minimum pace. Now I will be telling you about why it's good for you. Exercise is good for you because it produces endorphins, chemicals that can help you feel more happy and peaceful. For example, if someone is mad and they go out for a run or for a walk and they come back later, they feel more happy and like they think about like all the things they would have done bad while they were mad, but since they went for a walk or a run, they don't do it because they think about it while they're on the run. It helps. Exercise also helps you sleep better. I read from another online website that it triggers an increase of temperature in the body, and the post-exercise drop in temperatures may promote falling asleep. That was a study they had on some students. Another way exercise is good for you is that you feel better about yourself, like accomplishments. If you go on a 2K mile run with a friend and you win them, you feel proud of yourself because you beat something and you won. Losing weight, I know most of you guys are gaining weight. Most of you guys want to have a goal and you guys reach that goal. You guys feel proud of yourselves and it makes you feel better. That is why it's good for you. In conclusion, exercise is one of the most important parts of keeping your body healthy, not being fat, and why it keeps you motivated.
All right, Jasmine, what did you think?
I think you had pretty solid information, and it was good that you tied it with your family because that's how we know you firsthand have experience with that. But I feel like you should have quoted more sources so we can establish some credibility with that. Your overall presentation had solid information, it was good, but the tone in your voice was hesitant at certain points, and it seemed like you did have like a lot of anxiety, and transitioning from one point to the next was kind of awkward at times, but overall it was great.
All right. I think your attention device needs to be a little bit stronger, and it's confusing at the beginning because you're talking about different subjects and you're talking about why something is bad, and now you're going to talk about why it's good, but the truth is that they're two completely different things. You're saying type 2 diabetes is bad, exercise is good. Okay, that's fine, but you made it sound like you were talking about, I'm going to talk about why it's good at first and then why it's bad, and it's really two completely different subjects, so that's a little bit confusing. The notion of type 2 diabetes being a problem, I think you develop a little bit of information on that it's related to high blood pressure and heart disease. I think the tie-in needs to be a little clearer there, but I don't doubt that there is a relationship there. You mentioned type 3 diabetes at one point, and I'm not familiar, and I think you need to kind of explain what's going on there. I think most of your evidence that you do cite defines an illness. You kind of define what high blood pressure is. You kind of define what a heart attack is. What I need to know is why are those things results of type 2 diabetes? And what is type 2 diabetes a result of a lack of exercise? That seems to be the implication that's going on here, that people develop type 2 diabetes because they are not in good shape. They gain weight and it develops type 2 diabetes, which then produces these particular effects. And then the way to fix those problems is by doing some kind of exercise that's going to be beneficial to you. So you have the right idea here. This is exactly, there's our motivated sequence right there. We have a need. People have problems because of obesity, which leads to diabetes, and diabetes has all these particular problems. We have a solution, exercise, that's going to help us. We got a positive visualization. Here's what happens when you exercise effectively. So you've got the parts and components of a speech that would work as a persuasive here, but they are not being assembled very clearly, and that is a problem. And I think that there's also some incompleteness to it. Like I said, I think you need to tie in these points more effectively to one another, and then you need to have some evidence that shows, for example, there's a ton of information that suggests that if you reduce obesity, if you exercise on a regular basis, that it has an effect on diabetes, for example. There are a lot of people that are deal with their diabetic predisposition by exercise, that there are plenty of people that can actually go off medication if they lose a certain amount of weight. And that's, I think, stuff that needs to be in the speech to show us those kinds of things. It just feels like you have half a thing here. Instead of a whole speech, you've got part of the first part of a speech that you're setting up, and you need to finish working on it still. Of course, you just don't have more time to get it ready, and that's part of the problem here. Delivery issues, I think you do a pretty nice job with your voice and speaking up. Maybe sometimes there's a little bit of hesitation here or there. I think your eye contact is generally solid. I'm going to give you a little bit of grief about something because I don't have it as a separate category. It's just like general nonverbal delivery issues. And when we were doing the presentation speeches, the impromptu speeches, remember one of the things that we were emphasizing was the way you present and that kind of thing. And as it's not meant as a criticism of you, it's just you got to be thinking about this. You did two things that are exact opposite of stuff that I told people to do on the day they're presenting. You've got a slogan on your shirt, and you've got very stylish jeans, but they are distracting because they got the holes in them, and they might be great for going to a party or hanging out at school, but when you're giving a speech, I'm going, how many holes are there? 1, 2, 3. I'm just distracted by that kind of stuff, and I think a lot of people will find those things problematic. I didn't knock you down any points on it. I'm just telling you my personal impression on those things, and since I gave you the advice earlier not to do those sorts of things, it's a little bit like I'm sure that you have had other teachers do this. I said, don't do this, and then you go ahead and do it anyway, and they say, what does it matter? Did you not hear me? You know, and that's kind of the way I feel right now about that. All right, so a little chastisement about that. Don't be too irritated with me for talking to you about it. Sorry about that.